Good morning, everybody. Jack Leeson with StartupTrading.com. It is 9:17 here in the morning on April 11th, and we're going to be doing some technical analysis for the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. I'm going to back out on the higher time frame to start off for the NQ. So yesterday we basically came right to, it's kind of amazing, the full halfway back long for the week, which I thought was a circuit breaker. I'm not sure why I didn't. Maybe it was like the time of the day or something, but we were down 7%. Um, and that lined up perfectly with that low from Sunday night to the high of the day here in the NQ. Pretty amazing how that worked. And while we were down there yesterday, we basically came right to it. Uh, as I was on the mic, I was talking about us getting back up into that halfway back short, and that is exactly what we did here. So we came into a 50% retracement long, Sunday night low to the high of Wednesday. We sold off all the way into our halfway back long. We rallied all the way into our halfway back short, and then we sold into the halfway back long from that low. So it's just a building block of consolidation inside of halfway backs, and one of these, will complete. We now have a giant halfway back short, a giant halfway back long, a halfway back short inside of that, and a halfway back long inside of that. So it's kind of interesting how this is turning out to develop. But the king of the halfway back is king here, that's for sure. And you can just see how technical it's been. Now, yesterday's midpoint, so the blue line here, yesterday's middle of the range is also, doesn't always, but it is going to line up with the halfway back from the highs of the week too low. So as we go into the open, it's really just going to be, I'm anticipating a battle, maybe of a retest between the full halfway back long, okay, and the full halfway back short, and that is 18,652 and 17,923. Those are going to be my most active and anticipated support levels for either market. And then we have that full halfway back long in the middle of the range, and we'll see if we can come down and actually trade and hold that this morning. We may not get there if we rally off the open, but that's going to be an 18,296. If that ends up holding, then great. But right now, guys, I really don't have a bias. I'm not coming in today going, oh, I think we're super bearish or super bullish, because the reality is you can trade both sides of this market, and both sides of this market have had huge moves. Yesterday we had, 1,000-point move down and an 800-point move up or something like that. So it's like there's really no point in being stubborn and only picking a side. It's more like you really want to pick your spots. So if I were to pick one long spot here today, it'd be 17,923. And if I were to pick one short spot, it'd be 18,651. And then it's just a matter of being, patient in between. But that's really as much as I got here. I do think that, if we come down and complete this short, we could get all the way back down to the tariff relief announcement, and I think that would be a really good area. That's going to be my discount here for today. And maybe if that trades Sunday to Monday, that will be an important level. And as a reminder, if you didn't see the announcements on Sunday at the open, I'm just going to be going over some educational stuff, how I use, like, what size stops. I got a couple of what size stops am I using, like what's the basis of my strategy, etc., how to use the room. I'm going to be doing a webinar just like this on YouTube, and I'll send you guys the link on Sunday night at market open, 6 o'clock Eastern. Okay, moving on to the ES. Very similar, I mean, these markets are going to hold into, now I mentioned it when it traded, but we did trade the full halfway back short from highs. Completing this is not off the table. Completing this is not off the table. It would be down here at 4,500, 4,520. That is not off the table whatsoever. That 50% retracement short at basically 5,500 is going to be resistance for quite some time, I would guess. But just like the Nasdaq yesterday, after rotating into our short, we came all the way down into and held the full 50% retracement long from Sunday night low to that high. I want to just see what the regular trading hours would be if it's much different. It's a little higher. Anyway, so that is going to be a 51.80, definitely on the table for a retest here. But as we go into the day, I'm going to be looking for reversions, so longs below the lower mid, so longs below the green line only, and then potential short entries above the orange line. Those are going to be the setups. I'm not really interested in participating in this midpoint, anywhere in this mid. I want to look at the extremes. Even if you look at yesterday, shorts above the green, orange, and then longs below what was very a short-lived green, which is a lower mid below the mid. We weren't there for many long or much long, but that's the theory I'm going to go with here today. I'd like to see us kind of push down below that lower mid, or at least to it. You can see we're bouncing off it right now, but these are going to be the important levels. If we can sweep above, those overnight highs, I think there'll be a pullback to buy. But right now, as we go into the open, I'm going to draw yesterday's low from the middle of the day as well to this high here, and you can see that's going to give us a 52.72. Very possible for a retest here this morning. Maybe I look for an entry there long, but that's what I got for the ES and the NASDAQ. I'm going to share these levels with you guys, or if you're not using Thinkorswim right now, you can write them down. But it's probably a lot bigger day of range. Perry talked about is like if you hit one good trade, take it and run. It's Friday. I'm probably not going to be sticking around all day to trade. So everybody have a great day, great weekend, and I'll see you guys in the webinar Sunday night if you're not sticking around.